Well, I love the fact that you brought up the tens of millions of dollars because, I used to say that Washington is not a swamp. It's a gold-plated hot tub without a drain. So, but let's go to the next topic because I know we're running out of time. Let's talk about Russia. Now, let's talk about the situation unfolding this afternoon. The President Biden, and President Putin talked to each other. What do you think of U.S. policy related to Russia and maybe bring in China a little bit as well? The geopolitical threat. I think on Wall Street, something happens there, it's bad for the markets.
I do. I think if something happens in China, it's a lot worse than what might happen in Crimea. I like the Biden policies on this, which is sort of being tough with Russia. I like the Biden policies on Afghanistan. I like the Biden policies on the diplomatic boycott of the Olympics. What I haven't liked is the execution. I was looking today for the download on the phone call that just happened earlier today. I haven't seen it yet, but you got to hope that the administration has learned from its mistakes. They've got decent policies in some places. They're executing very poorly. So before they had the call with Russia, had they talked to the UK? Had they talked to the other Europeans? Had they talked to the Germans? Had they talked to the Australians? Have they talked to the Japanese and said to them, look, if Russia does this, are you with us? I want to know if they're executing properly, because you're right. Listen, I still think, and you and I have talked about this before, China, Taiwan's a lot more dangerous than Russia, Crimea. But still, another execution error could be really, really bad for foreign policy and really, really bad for the markets.
Well, all right. So we probably don't have a lot of disagreement here. I guess the only thing I would be calling for the Biden administration is a greater coalition of Western leadership. You're not going to like what I'm going to say, but I think President Trump fractured that a little bit and a space opened of distrust with other Western leaders. And so the Biden administration needs to do a better job of knitting that back together. We are stronger together with our Western allies, and I think obviously Vladimir Putin knows that, and so hopefully he'll do that. Mick, what about inflation? What's your theory there? What's your opinion?
Again, you and I have talked about this a little bit. I think you've got the opinion that it would be here anyway. I happen to disagree. I think that Donald Trump really understood the markets. Joe Biden, everybody likes Joe Biden. Joe Biden did not win because he's a stunning intellectual. He won because he's a deal maker and he was a likable kind of guy, and he wasn't Donald Trump. And I really think he might buy into these things when he says this bill isn't going to cost anything, or if we spend this extra money, it will actually lower inflation. These are things that he's actually said about his own policies. Trump understood the markets. Give him credit for that. And we knew that if we were going to cut taxes in a good economy, which we did, there would be inflationary pressures. How do you offset that? You offset that by allowing more goods and services to flow to the market. Inflation, too much money, chasing too few goods. If we're going to put more money in the market with taxes or tax cuts, we have to be able to get goods and services to market. It's one of the places the Biden administration has failed badly. They are regulating the American economy. And I think for that reason, as much as anything else, you're seeing inflation. I don't think you'd see this same measure of inflation if Donald Trump was president.
All right, so I'm going to totally push back. I think that these things are circumstantial. Jerome Powell, 42% increase in M2 since April 1st. We took the Fed balance sheet up to $9 trillion. That money flows into the market. It's Trump inflation or Biden inflation. And just to push back a little further on what you're saying about President Biden, I think what he was trying to say is the programs go into place, more disposable income goes to the bottom half of the society, which increases the pump of aggregate demand and unleashes more innovation. Mick, you and I both know more innovation, particularly technological innovation, is deflationary. And so I think the president was trying to make that point. That's another reason why I like Build Back Better. That inflation was going to be with us one way or the other. If you're dumping that kind of money, trillions of dollars into the economy, expanding the balance sheet, it's going to show up in the CPI.
I agree with you on the deflationary pressures, but keep in mind, Biden's policies are driving people out of the workforce. That's creating inflationary pressures, and they're not helping at all on productivity. The re-regulation has helped making more difficult for us to do this tonight. Small business people are struggling, so I really think you got a situation where Biden really is making it worse. But let's look.